August 6, 1945. 8:15 a.m. 1 second, Hiroshima was a living, breathing city. The next, it was a shadow on the ground. But this isn't just about a bomb. This is about the silence that followed. The cover-ups, the power games, and the twisted reactions of the world. Let's rewind. The US drops little boy on Hiroshima. A city full of kids going to school, shopkeepers unlocking their doors, and families eating breakfast. Gone. In seconds. The heat turned people into outlines. The rivers boiled. Bodies melted into pavement. But what came next was even crazier. The world saw the explosion and said, nothing. American media was censored. Photos banned. Doctors who spoke about radiation sickness? Silenced. Even journalists like Wilfred Burchett who dared to report the truth had their work erased. Why? Because this wasn't a bomb. This was a test. A global power play. Japan was already on its knees. But America wanted to make a point not to Japan. To Russia. And it worked. The Cold War was born on the ashes of Hiroshima. Yo, if you're still watching this, you're clearly not the kind who just scrolls past uncomfortable truth. So do one thing, tap that subscribe button right now. Because this rabbit hole? We're just getting started. Now, let's talk about who clapped. Hitler. Yeah, bro was in his bunker, losing the war, and suddenly, bam! The Allies drop a weapon that makes Nazi V-2 rockets look like Diwali crackers. Captured Nazi scientists, the same guys who worked under Hitler, were in shock. One of them said, and I quote, "If the British had dropped that on Berlin, I would have killed myself." Another one just stared into space and whispered, "It was real." Meanwhile, Churchill was sipping tea like, "This is brilliant. But also horrifying." And Stalin? He knew what this meant. The next war would not be fought with tanks. It would be fought with buttons. But let's go deeper. The survivors, the hibakusha. Kids who lost their parents. Women who lost their skin. Fathers who watched their children bleed from the eyes. And yet, they lived. They rebuilt. They made art. They told stories. One of them said, "My body is broken, but I must tell the story, or history will lie." And guess what? History did lie. In school, we're taught the bomb ended the war. The truth? Japan was already trying to surrender. America just wanted to test their new toy. One bomb wasn't enough. So 3 days later, they dropped another one, on Nagasaki. Why? Because they wanted to test a different bomb design. No joke. One was uranium. The other, plutonium. The US wanted data. So they picked two cities, and played science with souls. And while people were dying, the US filmed everything. The burns. The twisted bodies. The cancers. And then they locked the footage away. Classified. For decades, no one outside Japan even knew what really happened. But that's the thing about history. The truth eventually leaks. And just when we thought humanity had learned its lesson, Trump-era politics brought back the nuclear threats. Remember the line? North Korea will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen. Sound familiar? History doesn't repeat. It reloads. So here's what I'll leave you with. We live in an age where everything is content but this? This is consequence. The next time someone tells you Hiroshima was necessary, ask them, necessary for what? For winning? Or for warning? You decide. If this made you think, hit that like button. If this shook something inside you, subscribe right now. Because this channel? It isn't here to entertain. It's here to expose. Hiroshima wasn't the end. It was the beginning.